Welcome back to the BVarsity Super Show. Zach Ewing and Trevor Horn still here with you. Going on 2.5 hours. We're having fun. And up next, as I mentioned, we're going to be in the South Sequoia League for the next half an hour. Edgar Mares of Arvin just walked in, but first it is Shafter's Ricky Ishida. He's waving to his league rival there, becoming kind of a long-time league rival. You've been around a little while now,
yeah,
Ricky.
A little bit going
Ricky,
on
make sure you get right up on that mic.
Going on the 5th year, so just want to thank you guys for what you're doing for Kern County, so I appreciate you.
And we appreciate you saying that, and we're happy to be here for you guys. So year 5, that means you've got, this is your second senior class that you knew as freshmen, and you kind of have that continuity. Where is the state of Shafter football right now? Where are you guys? I know you were building.
Right.
Took maybe a step back last year. Where are you now?
Well, I think, starting off pretty hot, first year, and then, going 6-4, making playoffs to last year we go 2-8. As a coach, I'm sure every coach is, we're our biggest critics.
Mm-hmm.
Going back and reevaluating ourselves to make sure what worked, what didn't work, and I think everyone's going to, the community chat is going to be excited what Shafter's going to come up with. Because I know we have a good freshman class coming in. We've got a good JV team coming in, and they're going to keep coming in. So we're excited with the future of Shafter.
And you criticize yourself, but there's also things that happen in a season. You have injuries, you have transfers, you have those sort of things that your team is not maybe what you thought it was going to be.
Right.
Last year, when you look back on it, is there something you would change, or was it one of those things where there were things that were out of your hand that, hey, it snowballed on us, and it was a lost year?
Oh, definitely. And things snowballed, injuries, little things happen. You can't control that. I mean, you can, in your mind, you don't have a plan. You as coaches, as staff, you got everything together, and like you said, sometimes the ball doesn't roll that way.
Yeah. Having said that, who comes back for you? Who played well on that team, and who you are expecting a big year out of?
Up front, we have we were very young last year on the line. We have our center coming back, which right now it's kind of a battle. We got Manuel Llamas, you got Carlos Duarte, who was the right guard for us, who played very well, who we're looking to great things out of him. Let's see, you have Giovanni Mondragon, you have Martin Duarte, the running back, Ryan Brown, you got Peter Espinoza. So we have some key players. Defensively, we have some spots that we got to fill in with some lower level guys. Nick Perez is looking to do some great things. Robbie Posnoff, Marco Solis is another guy who's going to be a senior. So we're looking, pretty solid. We got some experience coming back.
And that's the best thing about sophomores; they become juniors, right?
Yeah, definitely. They get a year under the belt.
Yeah, I look at your schedule last year, and it started out real well. You go down to Miramonte and beat them up, and you beat Rosemont, and then things start to slip on you. Is that where injuries came in, or something else going on there?
Yeah, we had some injuries come in, and we had football. We had some key mistakes, and we were 3, 4, 5 plays even away from victory. That cost us the game. So that's what it came down to. Just key mistakes.
And 2 years ago, you're winning those games, and things are sort of going the other direction. Is that foundation still there? You feel like that you can sort of call last year, okay, that was a bump in the road, but we can still build on, say, 2013.
Oh, definitely. We have to be able to look ourselves in the mirror, make sure we're doing the right things, and stay on the right track, which I think we are. I believe we are. And so this is just a bump in the road, and we're looking to get back on track.
I was asking you about the league during the break there, and two of the first teams you mentioned were the Delano schools, Kennedy and Chavez. 2 years ago, they would have been the last schools we talked about. Right. I mean, that's really amazing, the transformation of this league that's happened. But it's not like, say, Wasco and Bakersfield Christian, yourselves, Arvin, and you guys aren't getting worse.
Right.
So is that just the whole rising tide lifts all boats, I guess?
Maybe. I don't have the answer to that. I know that Coach Quinn and Coach Mooney have done an outstanding job with the program coming in, first year guys, and they've always had athletes. When we play RFK, you look on, they have athletes, and why aren't they having success? But Coach Moody has come in and he's taking advantage of those things. So he's got those bodies coming in. Coach Quinn has, like I said, done an outstanding job.
Well, it doesn't hurt that Coach Moody has 5 former head coaches on his staff too.
Right.
So
that experience helps.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, I guess the point is there aren't off weeks in the SSL. Not that there ever were, but now it's especially true. It seems like.
Yeah.
Ricky, you always talk about a football team can get better by working out in the weight room, and you turned an old automotive club room into your weight room. You showed it to me last week. I was kind of in awe what you guys have been able to do there. It's a sweatshop. The guys are in there working hard. Yeah. How much of that blood, sweat, and tears for you do you take pride in every day that that room is a product of you and the pride of the community, getting that money that you never thought was there to get that room started.
You said it's the pride of the community, having passion for these kids that, provide the things that basically most schools have. We just want to give the best to our kids. So, a big shout out to our parents and our community for raising that money to bring a college state of the art facility for our kids that the kids take extreme pride in.
And really, I don't know if you can really call it an arms race or not, but your biggest rival, Wasco, had done the same thing a few years previous to that, and I think people look at it and say, "Hey, we got to do what they're doing a little bit." And last year, you're 2-7 going into that game, and as disappointing as some of that season was, had you been able to win that game, that would have made a lot of wounds go away, I think.
Right. Oh, definitely. And I think it's been the blessing and the curse, I guess, for Shafter and Wasco because. You have these losses, and then you beat your ultimate rival, and those scratches go away, which in our opinion it's not right, but at the same time it's it's a rivalry game, and kids get emotional, and you wish that kids can play like that all game long, but we don't play Wasco every single game, and so unfortunately we're dealing with teenagers, we're dealing with teenagers that. We have kids that, have to worry about, what they're going to have for dinner that night or where they're going to sleep. And so we have other things, and it's part of, our job while we coach. For us, it's more of, being a relational coach.
I think that's a great point.
Relational coach. And it's frustrating because we all want to win. I mean, we're not in this business to lose. We all want to have success. But unfortunately, we have to deal with those frustrations with kids. I mean, we have the drive to succeed, but some of these kids don't. And so for most of them, for some of them, we're father figures.
Yeah.
And so we get those calls late at night, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning that, people don't know about, that we deal with behind the scenes.
Is that something you knew about before you got into coaching, or is it something you've had to figure out as you've gone on as a young coach?
Yeah. Well, I'm a prime example. I had some of those same things happen in my life, and like Brian Nixon, Coach Smith. I have several coaches in my life that impacted my life extremely. I can't thank him enough. Where I still see him as father figures, which I still go to advice. Especially with Brian Nixon, and he kind of gets me where I need to be mentally. So because I still need it, but because I get emotional with these kids, I care about these kids. So it's more than just the X's and O part. It's the relational. It's caring for these kids to make sure, number one, they're graduating. And and when they get older, they're able to maintain a job, have a good career, become good fathers. So that's what it's ultimately all about.
Is it fair to say that made you want to coach when you had those father figures?
Oh, without a doubt. Having those, wanting to give back to continue that cycle, continue it, and hopefully, when I decide to hang it up, then I'll have another one come in that went through me that I coached that's able to do the same exact thing.
Well, Shafter's home for you too. I mean, you went to high school, you were generally yourself.
Right.
How much of that past that you have helps you with these kids now when you say, hey man, I went through it too?
Yeah. And a lot of those kids don't, obviously, they may have heard my name but don't know my true story. So when we do those things, for example, like Hume Lake, we're able to get into those deep conversations with the team and like, whoa, Coach Ishida, does maybe understand what we're going through.
Right.
Not too long ago we had one of our coaches help one of our former players with, unfortunately, he had to deal with the custody battle with his son, and so, again, that's one of those things that, people don't know about that goes on behind the scenes that, we care more about these kids, and it's not just about winning on the field. It's winning in life and doing those other things as well.
Back to the team just for a couple of minutes. Let's take a look at your schedule. This is what Shafter High is looking at in 2015. And you open up again. It's the same. Really, that's the thing is if anybody remembers last year, it's the same schedule as the previous year reversed. But you open with Miramonte, and we talked about this with David Finucci. But this is they won their last game, and I know that they've been down for a few years. But that's a dangerous team where they all of a sudden feel like they can do anything.
Yeah, definitely. They have some athletes coming in through, and I think coaches there are doing a good job. So. I don't think a game on our schedule is going to be easy. We just have to come prepared, stick to our game plan, and run it.
Is it true you talked to Brian Nixon about playing Liberty this year?
No, definitely not.
No, he's got a monster down there right now.
Definitely.
Some of the games I feel like that have been key the last 2 years, where you win them 2 years ago, you lost them last year, and it really changed the tenor of your season. That's Selma and Corcoran back to back right there.
Right.
Those are good teams. They're solid, Division IV style teams. Right. And that's the sort of program you want to beat if you're going to get where you're going to go, right?
Yeah, definitely. And for I understand, they have new coaches.
I believe that's true. Yeah.
So, they've always had success. Selma, Corcoran. Corcoran won the Valley last year. You
Yeah.
know, so they're gonna be high on that emotion. So we got to come in and be ready to go because they're also, I believe, in our playoff bracket as well.
Sure. When you look at your roster, a guy who you feel like can have a breakout year, and if he did, it would really help you.
You know, I have a couple in mind.
Okay.
You know, Martin Duarte, you know, a running back, you know, Ryan Brown, even Peter Espinoza. You know, we have some newcomers coming in. You know, Steve Perez from the JV, Caleb Munoz. So there's not really one guy we can pinpoint, you know, but, you know, we don't want our focus to be on one guy,
Sure.
you know, because we want to be able to kind of spread it out a little bit, you know, to the run game, you know, the pass game, whatever it is. So we got to, you know, try to keep balance.
Let me ask you this: you've always been a guy, I think, who's been sort of a team type guy. What have you learned? And now you had great mentors, Brian Nixon at the top of the list, but until you get out in the arena, so to speak, there's certain things you just can't learn until you get out there. Right. Now that it's year 5 for you, what have you learned about being a coach, and where do you think you're a better coach?
I think the biggest thing is patience. You know, seeing everything, you know, come together and being able to listen to, you know, the coaches see, because you can't see everything. You know, that's why we have those coaches up top, and to watch game film, you have those coaches point out a couple things. So that's the biggest thing is I know that I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers, and which is why, you know, I try to surround myself with the great staff to help me out in those areas where I'm weak. You know, so that's why, you know, whenever, you know, we get coaches on staff, we want coaches that are more, you know, about more than just the external about the kids, but more as men as well, to be able to keep us on track.
We can say 2015 is a success for Shafter football if what happens?
If we can stay healthy.
Okay.
So if we can stay healthy and you know, stick to our game plan, and, you know, obviously, you know, we want to do a lot better than we did last year, you know, but I think the biggest thing is we stay healthy. Very
good. That's Ricky Ishida. He's one of our good friends here at Shafter High, head football coach, and that's our 15 minutes on Shafter football. Man, we could talk longer about all these programs, it feels like. But
we could have gone an hour with everybody.
Yeah, we just keep rolling through. And up next, Edgar Maras of Arvin will stay in the SSL, and then coming up after him, Dennis Manning of Ridgeview, who had a huge year last year and is looking to repeat that. So we'll keep rolling on BVarsity Live. Ricky Ishida, thanks for being here.
No, thank you for having me.
And we will be back right after this.